Whoa, a new sketch just appeared out of nowhere. What? I forgot to press the freaking record button. Hello everyone, my name is Kay and welcome back. Or if it's your first time watching, welcome to my channel. I do want to say thank you for choosing to subscribe if you did, or leaving a little comment here and there, whether it's on my shorts or my long form videos. I see you guys and I love seeing our little community grow. I know we're literally a tiny drop in this huge ocean that is YouTube, but you guys choosing to follow a small channel, you guys are the real ones. So thanks for that, and I hope you stick around for a while. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't be shy, join the fam. I'm just here yapping about art and life and sketching and making mistakes as always. Speaking of comments, I got some from this really nice viewer who said my sketches reminded them of Studio Ghibli stuff. That is such a huge compliment. I love Studio Ghibli. I've watched every single one of their films except for Earwig and the Witch, but that one didn't really get good reviews, so I didn't bother. It's actually a funny coincidence because I filmed this way before I got those comments. And I also wasn't going to talk anymore about my Taipei trip, but I did get a chance to go to a Studio Ghibli exhibit at that time, and it was so interesting to see behind the scenes sketches and artworks of their earlier films. Most of them were for Nausicaa, but there were also some for Grave of the Fireflies, which I know isn't technically Ghibli, but it's part of the lore. My personal favorites are Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and Kiki's Delivery Service. But honestly, most of their films are really good. The first one I wanted to attempt sketching was the iconic bathhouse from Spirited Away. I know at first glance it seems intimidating to draw, especially because it has so many details and it looks so complex. But here's my secret. You don't need to draw everything, and it doesn't have to be that accurate. I find that drawing simpler is better, and using fewer lines to suggest certain details looks better than actually drawing every single detail. Like those squares for the windows, I think it would look chaotic if I drew every single one of those. Just a little crisscross is enough. And the statue at the very top, I have no idea what it looks like. I just copied the general shape and squiggled some shadows. Looking back, I also realized that there are some parts that aren't exactly the same. I don't know what my eyes were seeing, but that circle in the roof could have been a little bit bigger and filled up the space more. But you know what? That's okay. It's just a sketch. It doesn't have to be completely accurate. You know, aside from being a good way to relax and disconnect from a screen, sketching really is just me trying to break my perfectionism. You know, trying not to overthink and not focus on the tiniest details that no one will notice anyway. I'm curious, do you guys also sketch in your spare time or make art in general? I'm assuming if you're watching this, then you probably do. But I also see a lot of people who feel more discouraged about making art nowadays with all this AI stuff going on. I get it. It can feel hopeless sometimes when you see more artists get stolen from because of AI, but I think that now more than ever, the world needs more human-made art. Some people might say that AI art is just so much easier and prettier, or that if you make art, you're just gonna make more stuff that AI can steal. But the way I see it, the more that artists are vocal about protecting their work, the more that people call out when AI is used, the louder and prouder you are of supporting human-made art, then the less AI art will be used and the more that human artists will be valued and appreciated. In my local conventions, they've been very adamant about strictly no AI art, and I just think that's so cool. It's easy to be pessimistic and just focus on the negative, but let's not forget that there will always be people who support actual artists. I know it's not that simple and there's a lot of nuance to this whole AI situation, but I think that something we can all do to fight AI art is to bring more of your art into the world. Even if it is just a simple pen sketch like this, no fancy tools needed, just grab a pen and start sketching. I personally will always appreciate wonky hand-drawn lines more than perfectly rendered images that's stolen from other artists. Anyway, that was a bit of a random tangent that I didn't mean to go on. But moving on. For the next page, I actually pasted an extra piece of paper onto the page because I already used the other side, and since this isn't a branded sketchbook or anything, the pages are pretty thin. So there's a bit of ghosting going on. This is also kind of why I've just been using a pen, because I'm pretty sure the paper can't handle any more than that. So yeah, the next thing I sketched is from Princess Mononoke, and it's Sun's dagger. I think the handle was wrapped in red fabric, so I tried to capture that texture, and the design is just really cool. Can we talk about how cool Princess Mononoke is? It's a good movie that I think anyone of any age can enjoy. Well, maybe it's a little violent for younger kids actually. But rewatching it as an adult made me appreciate it more, because you can notice some details that you usually wouldn't care about as a kid. And the message still hits today. Whoa, a new sketch just appeared out of nowhere. What? I forgot to press the freaking record button. So here's the thing. I paused recording because I had to sneeze. I sneezed 4 times in a row for some reason. So my nose got a little runny and I went to grab some tissue, and then I just continued sketching as usual without realizing that I wasn't recording the entire time. So now it just looks like the sketch popped up out of nowhere and I have no process to show for it. First, it was my wonky buns, then I ran out of ink, and now I completely missed a good chunk of sketching. I fear that I may never have a smooth filming session. But I guess this perfectly encapsulates the message of my channel, which is to embrace your mistakes. It sucks because those two were the only things that I sketched from Princess Mononoke, but at least I didn't forget to film anything else from here on out. The next things I sketched were all from Kiki's delivery service. It's the bread wreath bakery sign thingy, the fish pie, and her bag because I had space to fill up, so why not? I love Kiki, she's so cute. And the town this was set in was so pretty too. When I first saw this, I remember thinking how insane it was for a 13-year-old to just go out on their own and be independent. And then I felt guilty, because I was just a lazy ass kid watching movies on the couch. Again, another rewatchable film. I think her struggles with navigating the world of adulthood and handling all these new responsibilities were so relatable. Trying to find your place in this world is such a difficult thing to do, and it takes time and a lot of trial and error. I'm gonna be honest, I'm in my late 20s and I still struggle with this. I do have a job that I think is pretty interesting, but I don't really know if I'm where I'm supposed to be, if that makes any sense. So if you're in the same boat, here's something I always tell myself whenever I feel anxious about the future. Trust the process, it'll always work out in the end. So here's the full spread. This turned out a lot cleaner than I thought it would. I like all the textures that the hatching makes. And yeah, that's all for today. I didn't mean for my chats to be that deep today, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and I also hope it encouraged at least just one of you to start drawing. As always, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.